Alrighty then, welcome to another video. In this video we're going to deal with something that has been causing me great pain today. The problem is I've been listening to Spotify via Google Chrome. Now I don't listen to Spotify enough to justify buying a premium subscription because but I also really hate adverts. So my solution is to write a Python script which is going to run a Selenium instance of Chrome, and it's going to listen for adverts, and when there is an advert it's going to mute Spotify, and when the advert stopped it's going to unmute it, so everything will be all nice. So let's get started. Now to start off, I've created a few files. One of them is called main.py, one of them is called utils.py. In utils.py I just have two functions for getting my username and for getting my password, because it's better not to show that sort of nonsense on camera. But in main, all I've got so far is just some imports that we are going to be needing for this tutorial. The code will be in the description if you can't be bothered to type. So here we go. What do we need to do first? We need to get an instance of the driver. I'm going to be using Chrome. Oh, I also should point out, you will need to download the Chrome WebDriver. I'll put a link in the description to a previous video which I discussed how you do that. It's dead straightforward. You're just going to download an executable that's going to allow you to use Google Chrome that's not really Google Chrome. It's a WebDriver version of Google Chrome. So yeah, that's what we're going to be using. Use that video in the description to do that, and then you'll be able to follow along with this video. The next thing we need to do is we need to load up a page. So we can say we need to load in Spotify, open up spotify.com, like that. And then the next thing we need to do is make sure that the browser window that's going to load up is going to be maximum. So we're going to say driver, bad driver. Driver maximize window. So when we load up, what's going to happen is Spotify is going to load up, and then the window is going to get big. This is just something we're going to need throughout the program. We basically want to have occasions where we're going to wait for something to happen, but if it doesn't happen, then we don't want stuff to happen. So we can use something called WebDriver wait, and this is going to allow us to sort of say, hey, I want to look for this element, find it for me, and it's going to implicitly wait for the amount of time we give it now. So we can say call it wait, and we'll say WebDriver wait driver, and then we'll say 10 seconds. So let's get started with logging in. Logging in is pretty simple. There are a few actions that we need to take. We are first going to need to find the login button, click that, enter our username, enter our password, and press login again. That's all we need to do, but we've got to write that programmatically. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So we'll create a function, we'll call it login, and I'm just going to call it down here just before I forget, because we'll look at Chrome as well. So we'll start this function. We actually are going to look at Chrome quickly. Okay, so here I am in Spotify and not logged in. So what we need to do is we need to click on the login button and find out what we need to actually click on. So we're going to use something called XPath to find this, because when we look and inspect this, so we're going to get the Chrome consoles up. That's Alt-Command-J if you're on a Mac. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see stuff. And we can click this little button here and then click on the login button, and it's going to bring that thing up in HTML for us. We can see we've got this stupid class here. Now I suspect these classes are randomly generated so that each time you load the page it'll probably be different. I haven't verified that, but that's probably what's going to happen. What we can see here is the text is log in with a lowercase I, and we're looking for the type. Obviously it's a button, so the type is irrelevant actually. We're just looking for that button with the text. So the way we can do that is we can use XPath to do that, and we'll go into doing that. But now let's just click on login and see what happens. Well, we go to this page here where we're going to log in. We've got a username field, we've got a password field, and if I click on the password field for a second and then I press tab and tab, we get straight to the login button, so we don't have to click again and find another login button, because this login button is slightly different than the other one, so we can't just reuse the code we used previously. And then of course we could press enter and it would log in for us. So that's the flow of things that we need to do. So let's now write that in code. So we need to find a login button. So the login button is going to be this. We're going to say driver. Then we're going to use the method find element by XPath. And we'll type in two forward slashes, then type in the element we want to find. So we're typing in button here, but if you were doing this for a different thing, you would want to type in, you know, maybe a div or maybe H1. I just noticed there's a typo there. We'll do, you can't use Vim. Okay, so we are going to then specify what we're looking for. We are looking for the text in this case, and the text is going to be equal to log in, lowercase I in, just in case you misnose that. Make sure you actually check this when you're doing this, because you might find it's changed by the time you're viewing this video. Then we can simply say login button dot click. Now, one of the things we then have to do is we then have to wait for, or tell the program to wait until the page loads, because we don't have infinitely fast internet speed, but the computer is going to be faster. Our script is going to be faster than the internet, almost guaranteed. The thing we need to do is say, hang on a minute, don't do anything until we've seen that we've loaded the page. The way we can do that is we can say wait, so that's using that wait thing we created earlier, until, and then we use EC from one of our imports, that stands for expected conditions. We're going to type in visibility, and I need to concentrate because this is the sort of thing I'll always type wrong, and then later on we'll be like, oh, it doesn't run for some reason, and it's because I've typed visibility wrong or something daft like that. So visibility of element located, then we can type in by, we want an ID. I didn't show this on Chrome, but we need the login dash username ID, like that. Cool. The next thing we need to do is we need to type in the username, right? So for you, your thing will be slightly different than what I'm about to do, because you don't have to call utils. But we're going to create a little method down here that's going to be called type text, so we can reuse it, because we're going to type in the password as well. So we'll call it type text, pass in a variable called text. And what we need to do is we need to use our actions. Action chains is what we have imported. Pass in the driver. Then actions.sendKeys text. The reason we're doing it with these things called actions is because we don't need to specify the element that we are going to be typing on. And the reason for that, and I forgot to show this when we looked at Chrome, is that we have already highlighted the username field. So when you load the login page, the username field is already highlighted, so you don't have to select it. So it's already there. So we've got this type text function that's going to work for us typing text. So we can just type in text, and then if I type in get username, again for you, just type in your username, and then we want to press the tab button. So for this, I think the best way of doing it is just to create another little method that we can just call. And the reason we also want to create this method is because we're going to want to call this multiple times. So there's going to be something we're going to do using higher order functions in a minute to call this multiple times. We don't have to do it that way. We're just going to do it that way because it's a bit of fun. We're going to say press key and then keys.tab. There we go. The reason I like this, you might think that this is a bit of a daft thing to have one method that does this, but it does save a few keystrokes, but also it's a thinner wrapper, so that if, for example, the API changes in the future that we can't use press keys anymore, we've got to use something different, well, we can just change it here, and wherever we've referenced this method, it will still work. So that's just one reason why you'd want to do that. So we want to type in, we want to press tab, then we want to type in our password. So let us type that in, but I'm not typing it myself because that's a pain. So I'm going to do get password for me. Again, you could just type in your password if you wanted to. The next thing I wanted to do, and this is just more for my fun, but also might be interesting to you. We're going to use a higher order function. I'm going to call this higher order function times. Times is going to take a function and it's going to take a number of times. This is a higher order because the first argument is a function. So what we're going to say is for underscore in range, because we don't care about the number, 0 to times. So if we put in 3, it's going to run this 3 times. We're just going to call that function like that. Then instead of having this tab here, we can simply have times tab without any brackets and then the number of times we want to call it. So we want to press tab twice there, and then we want to press enter. So again, for enter, I'm going to make another little method similar to tab, but this time it's just going to be enter, and you guessed it, enter. So I think this is cool enough at the moment that we could run it and have a goosey gander at what's going to happen. So just a quick spot check to make sure I got everything right. Oh, what did I do there? Wow, that was calamitous. So I may have just broken something. Oh well, soon fix it. Let's run the thing, see what happens. Yes, there's a problem. I knew there'd be a problem, didn't I? I said there'd be a problem. The problem is that I've just put that on a new line for some reason. I don't even know what button I pressed there that did all that, but yeah. Okay, actions perform. Let's run this. Is it going to work? Great, it's loading up Chrome. It's going to make Chrome bigger. It's going to then click login. It's going to type in login. It's going to type in the password. Something's gone wrong. It hasn't worked. Let's go back to our terminal and have a look what's gone wrong. The global press key is not defined. Ah, right. So that hasn't worked because I have typed in something wrong somewhere. Why is it saying press key doesn't work? Ah, yes. The reason it's saying that is because I haven't actually created the method press key yet. So I should have done that. I totally forgot that I hadn't done it. So let's do that now. So we need to do def press key, and then we're going to pass in the key. We are going to then do a similar thing to typing keys. Actually, we could use type text to do this. I'm just going to say type text and I'm going to pass in the key. I think that will work. Same sort of thing. So arguably I could have called this a different name and it probably would have been better. But that should now work. Let's run it and have a gander, see if this works. Okay, what's going to happen? Maximize screen, click login, type in username and password, double press tab, and then press enter. Okay, something again has gone wrong. Not 100% sure what went wrong there, but we'll soon figure this one out. Okay, why has that gone wrong? I suspect it's because this higher order function isn't working correctly. Let's change this to I, see if this has an effect. I don't think it will. That's not good. Let's have a look. Okay. It's going to open up, log in, Okay, it's not working. Ah, this is really weird. We're passing in the function. The function is called tab. That is what we should be doing. Why the blazes is that not working? That totally should be working. That is weird. That should definitely be working. Ah, no. I'm an idiot. What have I not done? I haven't called the enter method. Okay, I wasn't being stupid. Okay, well I was being stupid, but I was right. Bang! We've logged in. Perfect. Right. That's all gravy. So that works. I was right. We can get rid of this and switch it back to the underscore. Underscore basically is just an idiomatic way of saying I'm ignoring the variable. So, right, what have we done? We have now logged in. And what do we need to do next? Well, what we need to do next is we need to figure out if actually we need to actually start pressing the mute and the non-mute buttons, right? So to do this, what I propose is to create two functions, one of which is going to call the other function, the other one's just going to be mute. So one of them is going to be mute, and we're going to say mute like this. Say mute button is going to be equal to driver, so we have to find it. Now this is that the little button at the bottom of Spotify. It's like a little speaker symbol. That's what we're looking for. We're going to be using the XPath method again to find this. So find element by XPath. And this time it's going to be / button. Then we want to check that it contains the class. Now you want to also check this yourself. So the way I showed you earlier by opening the DevTools and then clicking that little button so that you then can find things quickly, because it might have changed, like I say again. But this is one of the classes that is contained within the volume bar icon, and this will work to actually find us the element. So that will find us the mute button. Then what do we want to do? We want to simply say, I'm going to click you. Click. And then if we want to unmute it, well, I think we could just keep the button mute, keep the method mute, but I think it makes it a little bit easier to read if I just call mute again. And you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to, but there we go. So what is the final thing we need to do? Well, the final thing we need to do, so we've called login. What we need to do next is we need to create an infinite loop. The infinite loop is going to perpetually check whether the now playing section, and we haven't done the now playing section actually. So the now playing section will sometimes have an advert in it. So we need to create a method to check whether we're playing an advert. To do that, we're just going to say now playing ad, and we need to say now playing element. This is going to be like the bottom element where things are being played. Again, I've found some of these because it gets boring to find them again and again on video. So we're using the class name this time, and it's just going to be now playing. This gets quite a large element, and what it actually gets back is a list of elements, which is good because the place where it says it's playing an advert, if you've ever been on Spotify, it will say, advertisement. Well, I only care that it contains somewhere the word advert, which is going to have a slight bug, but I don't really care about the bug. I'll tell you what the bug's going to be in a bit. But what we want to do is we want to say, we want this to return true if there's an advert playing, and it wants to return false if there's not. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to say return advert in, and this is where it gets cool with some really nice Python. So we're going to start a new string. We're then going to join our list of elements by saying element.text. That will get us our string text from the element. But to get our element, because we've got a list of them at the moment, we can just say for L in now playing L. And then we want to call the lower on that, because what this is going to do here is this is going to create one string out of a list of elements. And then we want to make it lower so that we're just comparing, apples to oranges, apples to apples, not apples to oranges. That's precisely the opposite thing I was on about. So that's going to now return true. Now, there's another thing we want to do as well. And the reason we want to do this, what do we want to do first? We want to, when we check if an advert's now playing, we also want to check whether the status of the mute bar is currently muted. Now, we could do some stuff where we look at the element and check, is it muted, is it playing? But we don't really want to do that, because I can't be bothered more than any reason. So I'm just going to simply have a global variable up the top here, and it's going to be called mute status, and we're going to initialize this with the value false for the simple reason that I assume when you start playing Spotify, you're obviously not going to be muted. And if you are muted, you can always manually yourself unmute it. The reason for that is that the idea of this is to have Spotify running in a Selenium instance, and you can operate it like you would normally, but all the while you've got your Python program protecting you from any advertisements. So we're going to have an infinite loop. It's going to be while true. We are going to say if now playing ad equals true, and the mute status is false, then what do we want to do? We want to mute it. And we also want to say mute status equals true. Else, if, not else, and I'll tell you why not else in a second, we want to say now playing ad is false and the mute status is true. So what that's going to do is when the advert finishes playing, the mute status will be true, but the advert status will be false. So we need to then call our little unmute method. And arguably, I could have put the changing of the statuses. In fact, I'm going to do that now. See, it's nice having these little methods. Mute status is equal to true. And then we also want to say mute status is equal to false here when we unmute stuff. So we can mute and unmute that. And then what do we want to do in the last condition? Well, in the last condition, we want to do nothing at all because we're just playing music. And so that should now work. So we're going to now run this. I'm going to mute my computer audio and we're going to play some music, and you're going to look down in the bottom corner to see where it's muted, and you should see that it's not muted until we start playing a song called Advert. That's the bug I was referring to earlier. It's going to mute any song that has Advert in the song title or any artist that's called Advert. I don't really care about that. That's not really going to bother me at all, but it will block all adverts for me. So if we do run this, he's got a typo. Hopefully that'll be the only one. Should be double equals. Try it again. Here we go. Okay, it's running. It's going to load everything up. It's going to log in again, obviously. It's going to log in nice for us. Okay, so now what's he going to do? Absolutely nothing. Sorry. That was terrible. It's not going to do anything because nothing's happening. Notice we are not on mute. We are on full volume. We are playing some random song. I have no idea what that is. But what we're going to do is we are going to press the next button, and the next song in the queue is not that song. So actually I'm going to find the song because I've made a terrible and egregious error. I thought I had it in the queue. I don't. There's a song by Blur called Advert. And if we were to just now keep your eye on over here, we press that, it's now playing Advert. What's going to happen is this is going to go onto mute. This should go onto mute. This is not going on to mute. Something's gone wrong. I suspect our program has crashed. It has crashed. So you know how normally, if you watch any of my videos, I've made an egregious error? Well, I've already made the error, so let's sort this out once and for all. Right. Okay, let's figure out what the problem is. So the problem is no such element exception. Message no element, unable to locate element now playing. So I have done something terribly wrong, and I think I've probably not... Oh, I can see what I've done. I've probably not typed in elements. I think that should work. I hope that should work. Run it. The problem with doing this is it takes like a good few seconds to run each time because we've got to wait for it to log in, do all that sort of nonsense. Okay. So that looks like it's not worked again. Oh no, maybe it is working. I don't know. So that's... Okay, it's playing a song. We'll find the song advert again and we'll pop that in there. We'll add that to the queue and we'll see, has it worked? It has not worked. Something's gone wrong again. I'm almost certain of it. Is that the same error? Shouldn't be the same error. I will have to have a goosey gander and then I'll come back. I am back and I've realised there was not one but two bugs. Okay, the two bugs are I was wrong to put these changing of the statuses in these methods for the simple reason well actually was I don't know, maybe not. I'm going to put them back, but the main issue is that over here I'm an absolute fool because I put an underscore where I should have put a dash. So now hopefully when we run this, this is going to be all good and all nice, and it will just work for us. So we're going to run this. We're going to maximize the screen. Log in. Quick. Click out. Enter. Quick. Is it going to do anything? Okay, it's playing advert by Blur. That means it should have muted. And it did just mute, and it's muted. There we go. It's muted it. Now, if I was to change a song to some other song, it's brought back the volume. Oh my God, this is going to change my entire life. Hopefully, this will change your life as well, and change many other lives. We'll never have to deal with this sort of nonsense ever again. So that is the program. I will put the code in the doobly-doo. I'll also put the link for the video where you can download the Chrome driver in case you haven't already done that and you've watched the entire video and just sort of sat there. Whatever, that's cool. Yeah, so as usual, I can't end the video. I'll just carry on talking for no apparent reason. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to hit a like, if you want to like the video, you can say, oh, I like the video. I can click the like button, click the little thumbs up button. You could maybe even write a Python script to like all of my videos. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? You could totally do that now from watching this video. Yeah, subscribe for more. I'm going to end the video right about now. Yeah, bye. Ta-ta.